So I work for Durack Civil, and so we were contracted through Douglas Shire Council, and we're doing the design and the construct of all of the landside infrastructure. So that just means everything leading up to the ferries on either side. So what I'll go through today is basically I've just snipped the overview of all the plans so you can see exactly what we're planning on doing. So first I'll go through the south side, and then I'll go through the north side, and then I'll show you the overview of the boat ramp design. And then I'll quickly touch on our program of works and our traffic management strategy. And then we can do questions at the end after everyone's finished their presentations. So this is leading into the Croc Tours area. And so that's where our works will start just before that. And we'll be adding in an extra lane there. So there'll be 2 lanes going towards the boat. And in this section, there's 1 lane coming out. And that's better. I always thought I had quite a loud voice too. So this plan, the green is the existing and the blue is the widening. So this is just a demonstration of which parts of the roads we'll be working on so that we can get these extra lanes in. You can see this left-hand lane here will be for people going into the Croc Tour car park or the boat ramp. And the middle lane will be for people travelling straight through to the ferry.
What I've done there is because there's a couple of things. There'll be times when people want to go to a Croc Tour, they've booked in for a certain time, and they arrive here and the cars are all over. What we know is what they'll do, like we do on this side of the river, is they'll go around, down the wrong side of the road and try to cut into one of those intersections. So we're trying to prevent that by having an inside lane that takes them into McDowell Lane to the Croc Tours, or residents of McDowell Lane, and then it proceeds on and takes the boaters into the boat park. Whilst those that are going down to use the ferry slip through on the inside lane.
So the ticket booths are currently somewhere around here. They're going to be moved back up here. And the two left lanes will be going straight through to the ferry, and that's where the tourists will go. And then the next lane next to that is the priority lane here for emergency vehicles. And then these extra 2 lanes are for residents. Is that correct, Rob? Yeah.
Those two extra lanes of what?
The 2 extra lanes through the middle, that's for the residents, the locals. So you'll have 2 lanes going straight through.
I can talk that. What we're trying to do here is stack and rack more vehicles for the ticket booth. So the experience you have now is you get to the ticket booth, it's only 12 cars back from where you line up and go on the ferry. The ferry's arrived. I can talk loud. And people are being held up at the ticket booth and they get frustrated because they just want to get through and onto that bloody boat. So what we're going to do is stack and rack more cars forward. So at any one time, as a general rule, there should be enough cars forward to that ticket booth to fill that ferry up. So there's no rush. The other thing we're doing, and we are moving 90 plus cars forward of where they would normally be. So having the 2 lanes that come back around the back of the ferry house, you're familiar with whereabouts? They're the 2 lanes that will take all the tourist traffic, not the buses, the tourist traffic. And the lanes down the left-hand side are where you currently drive in, and those lanes, 2 lanes, will be for locals, tradies, tour buses, and we'll keep the emergency lane obviously for emergencies, police, ambos, fires.
Yeah, so did I get that right? The middle lane that cuts through, is that for the locals to use?
The 2 left-hand lanes.
The 2 new ones, the new lanes that come through.
These tourist lanes.
Oh, sorry.
These tourist lanes, and we'll get in excess
Sorry, I got it wrong.
cars around there. So at any one time, if there's tourists there, they'll be stacked and racked around here, waiting here behind food gates to get access on the ferry. Locals will come down where you currently do now, but you'll have 2 full lanes for locals and the 3rd lane with emergency services. Some nods, everybody understand?
Sorry.
So that silly use of that 3rd lane at the moment for 3 traffic is obsolete.
Correct, yep. So if you get to the ticket booth up here and you decide the ferry's not for me, it's too expensive, or I decide I don't want to go to the ferry, I'm missing out on ice cream, so that's their fault. There will be a turnaround lane there. So go through the ticket booth, I'm not going on, I'm not paying, do a U-turn and head back and do whatever you want to do for the rest of the day. That will be up at the ticket booth.
Sorry, I'm a bit slow, but I haven't quite understood what that bottom lane is called. Is that one for?
The bottom lane, so when you come off the new vessel, which is dual loading, dual unloading, as in 2 cars can go on and 2 cars come off, is that it splits into 2 lanes straight away. We currently come off the ferry and it's only 1 lane. It's 2 lanes because it's dual unloading. And it's 2 lanes for 150 metres, because at the 150 metre mark, where the 2 lanes merge into 1, that's enough space to empty that vessel. So we're not holding the vessel up because we're trying to get all those cars off, which is slowing down the trip.
So they go around there and back up to where the ticket booth is that right? Can
Yeah,
you
they
just
come
show
around
me
here,
that?
and this is where you exit now.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the exit lane at the present time just comes around here, which is where we might put the dredge fund over here. So we're moving it across 2 lanes off the ferry, merging together into 1 lane, and that is the existing exit route as you go out and away.
Thanks,
And roughly
Rob.
how many vehicles can get stacked up from the
From the
gate?
ticket booth through, about 189 vehicles.
heaps?
That's great. There will be times though, on the odd occasion, where we can't help that. Because, like I said before, we've had it where 200 motorcycles turned up at one time. But it's a one-off, it's rare. It might be show day in Cairns, everybody decides to come up for the day, so it's a one-off. We can't put infrastructure in place for a one-off.
And if there aren't that many locals, like there are times of the day where there are many more tourists than locals, are you looking to access, say, the second of those local lanes for tourists, make it more efficient?
I think we should still look at it in the non-peak times, and we'll talk to how this actually works with the traffic flow. Is we don't always have the ticket booth open, of course, as you all know. There's no point putting someone on a ticket booth when there's only going to be 2 cars. You wouldn't have a ticket booth open at 9 o'clock at night when you've got 1 car on average for the last 3 hours of the day. So we'll look at how that traffic management flows. And it might well be that bollards or which is that soon we go, there's only going to be 10 cars coming through, all slip down the left-hand lane, because it's not going to impact you as a local wanting to get on the ferry, because there's only 10 cars on a 36-car ferry. So I think we need to see how that works through as well. But we've got the capacity and capability there. As to how we manage it, I think we need to suck and see for a little while. But we'll always give priority to the locals, and we've got your locals lanes. And the north side, we'll talk about that when we get to the north side.
Yep, so this plan again is just showing you the blue areas as the new areas of road and the green's the existing. So this is now on the north side, and again, jump in, Rob, but the improvement here is there's going to be, near the ferry, 2 lanes coming in and 2 lanes exiting. So same thing here, you'll have your, most people go in the left lane, and then the priority lane will be the right lane. And so there was some discussions earlier about Forest Creek Road. So the good thing here is that the 2 lanes go right back past Forest Creek Road now. So there should be a way for locals to get around that queuing traffic.
Is there talk of roundabouts in Forest Creek?
Have to pass that to Rob.
You say ramp out?
Yes.
Roundabout.
I saw that question come through. We haven't. We think that what we've done, I could be wrong in the future, will address that. But I still think there'll be times maybe, even though the spread of traffic coming back in the afternoon is less than what it is going up in the morning between 9 and 12, between 12 and 5:30 it's less, but you still get held up. When we get to the next slide or 2 slides on, we'll show you how far back that goes. It's 150 metres north of the current intersection of where the road divides into 2. We end up with the middle lane being the lane for Forest Creek Road and for locals. And the left-hand side is 250 metres of road for tourists. But a lot of cars, that will still have a pay for an hour back there.
My concern is access from Forest Creek Road getting back onto there coming in the afternoon. Coming shooting over the hill, limited access with our little mirror there.
Yeah.
That's something I can see they really good
We met Telstra there this morning to talk about some of the issues we've got, technical issues, design issues, engineering issues. Roundabout takes up a lot of space compared to a slip lane and a lane. So, yeah. But we'll talk some more when we get to there as well.
Some other improvements in this area is there's now going to be designated car parks, and there's also parking for buses as well. So that'll improve that area as well.
I'll just give you a quick brief where that is. When you come off the ferry, once again, there's 2 lanes off the ferry, and the 2 lanes go for 150 metres, and then emergency one. Once again, that's to clear all of the cars that will be on the ferry when it's full. We are allocating a spot over here for 3/4 buses. It depends on the length of the bus that's there. Of course, we'll get 3 buses, maybe 4 little, 14 seaters. And defined car parking. It's defined over there now, such that it's a little bit. If you look at it, sometimes unsafe. And not having to go with the buses when they pull up there, because it's the only place they can pull up waiting for the tours that come across the river. But you look at it and you go, wow, that's unsafe. It's the one that somebody actually hasn't been hit with the move, because tourists just walking in and out of the buses. So we've allocated a place over here for the buses. So when they get off their clock tours, there's a pathway that takes them all the way around past the amenity block, in front of the car park and around to the buses. So that's extremely safe. You get off the clock tour, there's a crisscross pathway that takes you around to where your buses will leave from. I've spoken to the guys there, the drivers. 99% think it's a good thing.
Do you think that's enough room just for 4 buses? Because Forest Creek Road, we invariably end up with the buses straight across the opening of Forest Creek Road, and you can't get in because there's a bloody big bus across the whole front of it.
Which way are they travelling? Towards or away?
Yeah, when they're waiting to pick up on the north
Travelling
side,
south.
the buses, and they're empty waiting, and there's no room at the present one, they come up and they go straight across Forest Creek Road. They block it off totally with their buses. And that's been happening in the last 20 years I've been there.
As in they have to go up there because there's not enough room.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. I don't think that extra part for 4 buses will be enough.
Yeah, I'm definitely with that.
Yeah.
You need much more room. Yeah,
For the buses.
Especially at like the 9:30 to 10:30 cruise in the morning, you've got like about 8 or 9, 10 buses there, right? Waiting for the cruise, waiting for the people to step off the boat after the crocodile cruise.
It's really good discussion, totally agree. Maybe it's a discussion we also have with the tourism industry. Does every tour operator have to land there at the same time? As opposed to taking out more of the vegetation, and that hasn't been an easy process in itself, getting the environmentals to go across into there.
Exactly.
Take out the millings where we know what the flora and fauna issues are. But yeah, it's a progress. 4 buses is better than none.
Yeah, but it's also, let's bear in mind as well, tour companies, well not so much in Port Douglas, but all the tour companies that come out of Cairns, they've got a strict timetable. It takes a long time to get from Cairns up to Cape Ship and back from Cape Ship to Cairns again. So you either do the cruise in the morning or you do the cruise in the afternoon mostly. So that's why the morning cruise early on, like 9:30, 10:30, 11-ish, that's why there are so many tour buses actually doing that cruise, because they have to do that cruise. They can't do a cruise at 11 or 12 o'clock. Right? They have to do it in the morning or they have to do it in the afternoon. And there are only a certain number of boats that go through the crocodile cruise, so there's only a certain number of allocations that the operators can actually give to tour bus companies. Let's see.
It was just saying,
drop them off where they pick them up? The other side?
No, we don't want that. Well, way too much time. We get the people dropped off on the north side after the crocodile cruise.
the other thing we can do is the allocated spots that we've got for vehicles, and that's never going to be full, where they vehicles might have a couple of staff that are parked there, and you get the odd person that pulls in there to go to the loo, is that we might be able to allocate 1 or 2 of those spots for a bus as well. So we don't think 4 is enough. Maybe we take 2 of the car parking spots and turn them into buses.
We can be pretty close.
Yeah. So that could be the smaller buses allocated to there.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah.
We'll consider that, yeah.
In the afternoon, when the buses exit there, where do they go back and make a U-turn to catch the ferry? Well, they go
Forest Creek Road.
obviously they can't.
So they come down, drop off their customers there, turn it back around. There's never going to be enough room there for them to do a U-turn and line up.
They will be.
That's what you do. You can't do a U-turn now in front of the ferry because someone lets you on the ferry.
Yeah.
So you've got to go back, and the only place you can do a U-turn in one place, Forest Creek Road, full stop.
Yeah, but you're still going to have to wait. If the line up past the ferry, Forest Creek Road, the bus can't get in. They're going to stay there and wait at Forest Creek.
That's it.
It's not going to happen as often. It won't happen as often because we've also got two lanes there that it may happen. how far do they go back? You know, how far do we put something back further so they can turn around?
In tourist season, those cars go right back to where the new network thing for Telstra is.
Yeah,
Right
further.
on that whole street.
This one. So the Forest Creek Road being up here, the 2 lanes will start 150 metres north of Forest Creek Road. Average car with a bit of space is 7.5 metres. So there's going to be a lot of space between where these lanes start and Forest Creek Road. So that will alleviate some of the issues that you're talking about as well.
And where's the ticket booth?
No ticket booth. It's northern side of the river.
Just sort of be a smart thing to have a ticket booth there, that's all.
When are you going to take tickets on the ferry then?
Yep.
How do tourists know what lane to go in?
Signage. I understand some of them can't read signs. This is a real challenge for them because what you'll end up with is you'll get the odd tourist or more that will slip down the locals lane and try to get on the ferry because there's a queue where the tourists are. And it happens if you travel, it happens everywhere. Tourists are always trying to push the limits.
So why are you not putting in ticket booths?
That's a good question. And I think currently, obviously, in trying to talk about having a ticket booth there.
And there was a booth put in place.
There was a booth and we took it away because we were never going to practically use it.
And you've got 4 rows of cars now on the ferry.
Yeah, and we've got additional staff on the ferry. And additional staff on the ferry. 1 extra person on the ferry because that is what Australian Maritime Safety Authority have just put in place across Australia. There'll be an additional person on the ferry as well.
Meaning how many? 3?
3 at any one time?
3 deckers?
No.
We'll talk about it. Do you mind?
Yeah, you guys talk about it when you get to it. Yeah.
I still think you need to look at the option of putting a ferry booth, the ticket booth there, in peak season, because it is chaos when you've got cars. And I imagine it will actually back up further than your 150 metres based on my experience. So when you've got those sort of scenarios, a ticket booth would actually be quite smart and it would improve the flow through onto the ferry. You wouldn't have to deal with people on the ferry. Anyway, I think you need to consider it.
Jeremy, in the designs, there is a spare conduit that runs up the road to the location where the ticket booth used to be, as you guys know, and that's for allowance in the future. If we think that that's what will work better when we've got this bigger ferry and we've got more staff, then we'll actually have the conduit in the ground ready to pull through a power cable from our.
I think the contingency would be well worth it.
We've got contingency built into this project everywhere. We've got comms coming up the road and spare conduits as well. We've got it on the other side of the road as well. So this is the time to build it while you're actually constructing it, not in the future. So it is there, but at this stage I'm saying no, we haven't allowed it. Sorry.
No, it's fine. You have a lot more history on it than I do, so that's fine. So this is the boat ramp design. It's a bit difficult to see, but this red box here is the current boat ramp, and then the black is our new one. So because the new ferry is considerably wider, the new boat ramp's a lot wider. Yeah, there's not too much to talk to about that one.
Well, it would have been very helpful to talk a bit more about the site. Where are the cars?
Okay, so the left side is the southern boat ramp, and then the right side is the northern boat ramp. And see the green and the blue is the lanes coming in. So we just zoomed right in.
Oh, so that's not water,
No, that's snipped from these plans here where it shows you like what's existing and what's new. So that green is where the current road comes in. So this is a plan view from the top, and then the top corner there, that's like a section running straight through the boat ramp. So that's where you can see it goes down into the water.
So here we've got the blue and the green.
Yep.
That's the road.
Yes, the green's the existing road and blue is where we're widening it.
And so the boat ramp is bigger than the road.
Yes. Yeah, you need a little bit extra on the sides for the ferry to land.
So is the ferry as wide as the new boat ramp?
The ferry's almost as wide as that new boat ramp. I think there's a little bit of gap on either side, like a metre either side or something. I think that's what it is.
Yeah, present time we get a lot of undermining happening on the ramps. Yeah, if you walk down and have a look at it, you'll see where it's washed under, almost to the extent that you go. Does that need to be actually tested? Because there's a lot of undermining. When you've got a design like this, it goes further, and it's also got the rock formations around it. That's going to help with that undermining underneath the actual ramps, concrete ramps.
Yeah.
And that slope that we see there is that looks like a shallower slope than what we have at present, so the ramp's actually much longer than the current ramp.
No, it actually matches the existing. It's just a little bit wider. Yeah.
It's one of the challenges of both the civil design and the building of the vessel to keep it, because we know that we have challenges now when we've got buses and trucks coming on with bolts on the back and actually getting damage to the ramp all the time. So it's a real challenge. These guys are going to be talking backwards and forwards constantly when we start to put the designs together to make sure it's no worse than what it currently is, but it would be nice if we could make it better. But the challenge is with the tides and the sand beds and the dredging all the time as well. There's times when certain trucks or caravans can't actually go on the ferry because the tide's so low and it's handle like that.
Yep.
Just a quick, you're saying that there are two rows of vehicles coming off the ferry when the ferry lands.
Yep.
Just a thought, early 90s, before anybody worked on the floor of the ferry, there were 3 lanes. When the ferry landed and the ramp went down, it was the first vehicle that got off, whether it was the left, middle or the right-hand lane, it was the first vehicle that got its nose in front, that lane went first. My thoughts are, if you're going to have a gate going up with 2 rows of cars and the road, the 2 lanes are going to go into one, I don't know, but I would think that you're going to find people basically like putting their foot down. I'm dead serious, I'm saying, it's going to be close.
Yeah.
There
There is there is 2 lanes for a certain length. How long did you say it was? 200 metres or something like that.
So the
So,
traffic lights,
yeah.
you talk about traffic lights in Cairns, where everybody tries to race for the next set of traffic lights. So there's traffic calming in your design.
Yeah, actually.
No, it's just a point, that's all, because I remember that well. I mean, that's when Steve got killed on the ferry, you know what I'm saying, when everybody was racing off the ferry, you know. So, that's all.
Yeah, so people always do that. We're putting traffic calming in there, which sometimes it pisses people off, because when you've got speed humps, people don't like speed humps, but speed humps are there for traffic calming for safety. This will have speed humps, which is traffic calming. If you get an idiot that wants to flatten it still, it's a little bit out of control, like everywhere else on the road. But we've got traffic calming building into the design for that reason.
I just remember that, I just remember it wrong, that's all.
So, just general question about your slides, like
Yeah.
sort of basic guideline is that people should be able to read what's on your slides. So there's lots and lots and lots of text that I can't read. Is any of that important for us to understand what's going on, or is it really possible for future public communications that you actually make slides with text on it that we can read?
So these are just a snip of the plan.
The blue signs there, obviously the directional things, they're probably more interesting than bits in white boxes. So they have them big enough to actually read.
And I imagine once these designs are approved, the actual set, the plans, layout plans will be released and you can read everything at that point. Apologise, you can't read it now.
Thank you.
That will be on our website.
It will be on our website.
Okay, so this is a high level of our program. So we're going to mobilise after the wet season, which we're intending to be around April 2026. And so what we'll do in 2026 is all of the landside infrastructure. So we'll do all of the roadworks, basically, all of the widening. And so we'll try and get all of that done between the dry season next year. And then we'll demobilise from site, and then we'll time the boat ramp works for when Burden come in and mobilise their ferry. And so at that point, we'll build the boat ramp and we'll tie everything into the existing roads and we'll bring the new ferry in. And that's when the new ferry will switch over and be operational.
So it's a very critical part of that, I guess, project part is the boat ramps. I've been told that the ramps are going to take 10 days from where to go and they're going to be done concurrently, so that it's not just a continual construction site on both sides. 10 days. when are those 10 days? And is it
I
10
believe-
days?
I was going to say, I believe we have 14 in
Yeah,
our
okay.
contract.
Minimum 10 days.
Minimum 10 days?
10 days. That is,
Yeah.
that is the tightest program you could ever run, trying to do the work they need to do in that time frame.
So that is a very important part of information that no one knew about, based on what you read there. It was only because I spoke to the CEO and he did sort of allude to it.
We need to know.
We need to know that level of information. That's critical. What month are we looking at, that 10 days?
So that's at the moment, looking at December 2027. So,
Whoa.
yeah.
Okay.
2 years away.
Yeah, so that's the last bit of the project.
Is that the only time when the ferry will be on?
Yeah. And during that time, we'll have a pedestrian ferry going back and forth.
Which
And we'll communicate that when all the plans are in place.
we've been down this path of the pedestrian ferry, and it's actually a waste of time because there's no connection either side. There was at one point the very first ferry outage, but it didn't work. And council never actually figured out why it didn't work because they never came out to ask people. And we've been down this path now twice, and you're saying there'll be a passenger, like a crop cruise boat, but that doesn't cut it because it doesn't help us getting into town. And it doesn't help people like me as a farmer who has to get fruit out. And in the past, we've had the single vehicle ferry that has enabled us to use some access. Obviously, when the ramp's being constructed, that's going to be impossible. I just think you guys are very simplistic in your thinking, and you haven't bothered to ask people what has worked and what hasn't worked in the past, and how do you make it work for us, not for you guys.
Well, the opportunity is today for you to share with us
Well, I am.
Yeah.
how
There's never a bus put on either for people to get in.
Yeah, that's exactly my point.
Just to get food.
No
Yeah.
one pretend rations or anything.
No,
'cause
so
they
that's
don't
something
know
that I think
this.
council really need to look at, is if you're gonna run that, even if the bus is only twice a day. But at least you can get into town, shop, get the bus back, get back into your car. That was
Okay. It's definitely something we can look at. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
was waiting for you to tell me that.
Yeah.
One thing I can say is there won't be a ferry there for your ute to take the fruit across.
Yeah.
Because once we take the existing ferry off the cables, they'll be ripping out the ramp straight away in that very short time frame, and there'll be crews both sides working through the night to try and get it within the tightest time frame we can. But what we can do is improve on both the ferry going across the river, the pedestrian one, and the bus service both sides. And if it's 2 buses a day, or whether it's 4 buses a day, absolutely consider that, sure. Because what we've done in the past is we've had the SES building up in Forest Creek Road as a place where you can park your cars. We have security there, we have the generator there for the airboats. You get shipped down to the shore, Devon shore, taken across, and on the other side, basically have it in the town. If you're teed up for a friend or someone to come and connect you, we can do that. Yeah, that's fine.